Hey guys, so today I want to talk about the University of Idaho murders and about the recent probable cause affidavit. So I shared with you guys the full affidavit on my channel a few videos ago because I thought some of you might want to read it and I had trouble finding it at first. So I wanted to put that out there. But now that we've read it, I wanted to kind of talk about it and how, there are some heartbreaking parts to it. There's some details that when you find out, it just changes the case and makes it more heartbreaking than it already was, because, of course, it was already a heartbreaking case. And so, yeah, so I wanted to talk about that. First of all, I think it's interesting that he was pulled over twice in Indiana. I think it's interesting because he wasn't pulled over in any other state. And Indiana is not a very wide state, so he got pulled over twice in a narrow state. It's like a long state, but it's narrow as far as he'd be going west to east, so it'd be kind of narrow. So I thought that was interesting that he got pulled over twice. Now, they did say they were not pulling him over because of the FBI telling them to pull him over. It just was by chance they pulled him over. That's the statement they made, because originally everybody thought that maybe Indiana State Police were told to pull him over to see what his destination was. But in that video, it was pretty interesting because he is trying to say, the police officer said, where are you going? And he said, we're going to lunch. And then his dad spilled the beans about where they were coming from. And it was kind of like proof the dad has no clue what's going on, because he looked like he was just excited to be with his son driving across the country. So in the affidavit, we find out that he had been driving by their house that night, and it was almost like he was waiting for them to all settle into bed and for it to get dark so he could just go in and, carry out the murders. And they still don't say what door he went in. I'm almost thinking it was the back door now, because from what they're saying, it sounds like he went to the third floor where Kaylee and Maddie were and murdered them first, because the roommate, Dylan, she was on the second floor, even though a lot of people thought she was on the first floor. She was on the second floor, and one of the first noises she hears is what she thought was Kaylee playing with her dog. And so it could be, she heard thumping maybe and thought it was like a dog jumping around. And really it was Kaylee and Maddie getting murdered. Or she really did hear the dog, and maybe it was when Bryan went into that bedroom and saw the dog, and maybe the dog got excited. So really she heard a lot of a lot of things that night. And a lot of us thought she didn't hear anything and that she was on the first floor. But she heard that. She heard who she thought was Kaylee say, someone is here, someone's in here. And the police or the investigators tend to think it could be Xana that said that. Because Xana had ordered DoorDash food at 4 a.m. and she was on TikTok at 4:14 or something. She was on TikTok. So that's like the first heartbreaking detail that I noticed was the idea that Xana was still awake. It makes me sad because I feel like, of course, being murdered, there's probably no good way to be murdered, but if you're asleep, maybe it's not. Maybe at least it's quick or something. And for her to be awake and just like living a normal life, being happy, scrolling through TikTok, she's got some food, like she's comfortable. She's in her room with her boyfriend, and this guy like takes all that from her and ruins her life and her family's life. And I thought that was just heartbreaking, a detail that none of us knew about, And so Dylan, she also heard Xana crying, and she heard a male voice say something like, "I'm going to help you." So my thought was, he was either murdering her when she was crying, or he was like holding her with a knife to her throat or something. And then for him to say something like that is really twisted. Like, just so twisted. But then I thought the other thing it could be that Ethan said, "Don't worry, I'm going to help you." It could be Ethan said it. But Dylan didn't say it was Ethan. She just said a male voice. So she peeked out at that time and didn't see anything. Oh, she peeked out whenever someone said there was someone in the house and she didn't see anything. And then she peeked out when she heard the crying. And then she heard crying again. But there was a time where she peeked out and saw Bryan walking towards her. And maybe it was dark and he didn't even see her. But she said she kind of froze, like she didn't know what to do. And he was wearing all black. He had a black face mask and he had bushy eyebrows. And so he walked past her and went out the back sliding door that was on the second floor. So I think that's how he came in as well. I just would like to know how he even came to know this house or these people in this house. Like why he picked them. It's just crazy to me that he would just... It's almost like he just went to school there just to do these murders, because he's from Pennsylvania. He did all his schooling in Pennsylvania, and then he just moved there, like in August or in the summer. And it seems like his whole focus was just to murder them the whole time he was there, which is scary and sickening and crazy. And now he's like, every time he's in court and stuff, he just looks like, you know, he's clueless, like why he's there, like he's innocent or something. But I'm glad that the investigators, they have a lot of evidence. So they have Dylan's testimony of what he looked like. And so they found a sheath for a knife next to Maddie. And they got his DNA off the snap. And wow, you know, like, it's just crazy how, like, I guess because you push down on the snap, you get more DNA on it. So he happened to leave that behind. And you wonder how that came about. Like, if he just forgot about it, or he just didn't think about it, you know. It is one of those things that it wasn't in his mind when he was doing the, like, the thoughts in his mind of what it would be like. But I just want to go over a few of the details from the affidavit, and I'll have more in a future video. Subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.
You told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake